video, especially that final photo, the smile and the joy on Tarek's face, that's exactly why I work for the ACLU. Fellow members and most welcome guests, tonight we proudly celebrate the 221st birthday of the Bill of Rights. I am Hector Villagra, and it is my great honor to serve as the Executive Director of the ACLU of Southern California. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy said these words: "Since this country was founded, each generation has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty." He spoke to a generation that gave profound testimony to its national loyalty by doing nothing less than redefining freedom. So many courageous people in that generation took Greyhound buses on freedom rides into the Deep South. They sat at segregated lunch counters, they protested against violence, and they rallied for voting rights. They made the constitutional promises of liberty, equality, and justice truer than they ever had been before. They created a more perfect union for all of us. This year, we have been challenged. We have been challenged by those who want to halt the progress of freedom and to roll it back, way, way, way back. These threats have been felt by many people across the country. By the 93-year-old African-American woman from Philadelphia. She had voted in every single election since the 60s when she got the right to vote. She didn't have a photo ID, and she couldn't afford one. Given Pennsylvania's strict new voter ID law, she feared she'd be unable to vote. By the teachers and other public employees throughout Wisconsin who lost their labor rights, all their labor rights, all those rights it took decades of struggle to gain, disappeared in one cruel pen stroke from the governor. By the 20-year-old waitress in Mississippi whose boyfriend left when she became pregnant. She can barely afford to support herself, and she needs access to health care. There is incredibly only one family planning clinic in the entire state, and the state government wants to shut it down. In the face of these grave challenges, we must ask, what kind of testimony will this generation give to its national loyalty? Is it prepared to ensure that all those who can and want to vote are able to do so? To ensure that women have access to the medical care they need? To ensure that workers can bargain over their wages, hours, and benefits? Is this generation prepared to lead freedom forward? I stand here tonight hopeful, because the proof that we are ready to give testimony to our national loyalty is right here in this room. The proof is in our brothers and sisters who, when challenged, had the courage to stand up and do the right thing. You've seen some of them featured tonight. Tarek, who could measure the weight of the federal government's prejudice against him in the years that it took to say no. Zoe, who endured abuse from her classmates and from the adults responsible for teaching, protecting, and nurturing her. And Greg Valentini, who fought in Afghanistan and Iraq, but now fights to put a roof over his head and fights for his own survival. You will see others featured later tonight. Duncan Roy, who tried to post bail, but the sheriff's department would not let him. Even after a judge ordered his release, the sheriff's department would not let him out. Because of an immigration hold, the Sheriff's Department jailed Duncan for 89 days. Never mind that he was in the country legally, or that these immigration holds can last only 48 hours. And Sandra Neal, who cried out in pain and anger when she saw what deputies had done to her young son. They kicked his teeth in, shattered bones in his face, and fractured his ribs, leaving him half dead in a pool of his own blood. When she complained, when she had the courage to complain, the Sheriff's Department ruled that the beating was justified. Each of these individuals could easily have given up, but they did not. They could have listened to those who said they wouldn't win, but they chose not to give up. They could have given in to the doubts that whispered in their ears, "No one will care about you." But no, they stood up for their own rights, and by doing so, for the rights of many, many others. Tariq for Muslims across the country who are viewed with suspicion and scrutinized because of their religion and charitable donations. Zoe for the nearly 60% of LGBTQ students who report hearing derogatory remarks at school, not from their classmates, but from their teachers and other school staff. Greg for the 8,000 homeless veterans now living in Los Angeles. Duncan for the nearly 20,000 people denied bail in LA County Jail last year alone. Sandra for the hundreds of inmates brutally struck in the head with flashlights and slammed headfirst into concrete walls and steel bars by jail deputies. They each have very, very different stories, but they all share the courage of their convictions. They all showed a strong devotion to this country, and they all gave testimony to their national loyalty. We at the ACLU have had the tremendous honor to stand with them in defending their rights. We draw so much inspiration from our clients and the people we advocate for. Two of them have joined us tonight. Where's my brave and beautiful Zoe? Zoe, would you please stand up? Duncan, where's Duncan? Duncan, would you please stand? And the proof is in our staff. We at the ACLU believe something very simple, that when someone's rights are violated, we are all challenged. Challenged to see their struggle as our own, challenged to accept it as our own, challenged to fight as if our own life, liberty, and happiness depended on it. Every day, we at the ACLU stand up for people. We teach them about their rights, what they mean, and how best to use them. We stand with them when they decide to assert their rights, and we raise our voices with theirs to help ensure that they are heard by those in power. We do all of this with the same courage and conviction as the people we advocate for, as Zoe and Duncan. I'd like all of our ACLU staff members who are here tonight to stand. Please join me in thanking them for all they do. There's one staff member in particular that I'd like to to highlight tonight, and that's someone who pours her heart and soul into the ACLU, and in particular, into this event. Megan Lee Oakes, many of you know her. She is the brainchild of this event. And I see the proof in our loyal supporters, like the Edelman-Llanos family, and so many others in this room tonight, who pass the love of the ACLU along from one generation to the next like a family heirloom, like a family treasure. Thank you. And the proof is in our friends and allies who promote our principles through their music and films, through their advocacy and philanthropy, and their teaching and writing. Friends and allies like our esteemed honorees, Erwin Chemerinsky, Jane Lynch, Scooter Braun, and Jay Roach. And so the question is, will this generation give testimony to its national loyalty with the same energy, faith, and devotion as earlier Americans? The answer is, we can and we must. Because we are Americans, because freedom can't protect itself, and freedom won't advance on its own. Tonight, all of us in this room, let's pledge ourselves to the hard work of leading freedom forward and creating a more perfect union for all of us. Join the ACLU. Support us with your time, your money, your wisdom. Whatever you've got, in whatever proportion you can, we'll take it. Get involved, sign petitions, march, rally, demonstrate, write letters to the editor or to your congresswoman. Stay informed, visit our website, follow us on Facebook, retweet our blogs and posts to ready the next generation. Scooter, where are you, Scooter? Can you raise your hand? Scooter, you've got 2 million Twitter followers. At last count, I have about 10. So I am really looking to you for help on this one. Each of us can make a difference. Tell someone unable to make it tonight about what you've heard tonight. Tell them about Greg and how shameful, how absolutely shameful it is to call ourselves the home of the brave when so many of our brave are homeless. Tell them about Duncan and Sandra and the brutality and the absurdity of our jail system. Tell them about Tarek and what it means to become a U.S. citizen. Tell them about Zoe and the courage it took to be true to herself. Tell them about the Bill of Rights. And please tell them about the American Civil Liberties Union. Thank you.